Kathy. Kathy. Kathy.
Thank you so much, Anna. That's just so beautiful. And we're going to welcome her back up here to share some important information with us in just a few minutes. But first, good morning. It is so great to see you all out there. And my name's Kathy Folsom, and on behalf of the board, it's my pleasure to welcome you this morning to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Swannanoa Valley. Please take this moment to turn off your cell phones. We really appreciate that. We gather to worship, our hearts alive with hope that here we will be truly seen, that here we will be welcomed into the garden of this community, where the simple and the elegant, the fluted and the frilled, the shy and the dramatic complemented one another and are treasured. May we know that here each contributes in their way to the beauty of the whole. Come, let us worship together all genders, sexualities, politics, clappers, non-clappers, dancers, non-dancers, singers, non-singers, progressives or conservative. We may root ourselves in the values of this faith: compassion and courage, transcendence, justice, and transformation. These words come from one of my favorite Unitarian Universalist ministers, Meg Barnhouse. I don't know how many of you are familiar with her, but back when I was living in a very conservative community, she was a guest minister with her partner and sang some amazing songs for us. And while I could not find the lyrics, or I would have just used them, I do want to share a couple of these while I'm up here. The song is, I'm thinking, Mango Thoughts in a Meatloaf Town. That's a song. And I like to think we live in a mango town, so a lot of that's not appropriate. But she was a minister in Spartanburg. She says, I was craving jalapeno talk just to soothe my soul. Saying unsurprising things was taking all my self-control. We have patriots and protesters. That's not all we got. We got atheists and redneck Hindus and pagan Buddhist Jews. Some of us like the Christian songs, and some just play the blues. So thank you, Meg Barnhouse, for that. If you're new to Unitarian Universalism, I encourage you to take note of our mission statement, which is printed on the front of our orders of service, and the 8 principles that guide our actions printed on the back. It's our practice to welcome those of you who may be visiting for the first or second time, or who have been maybe away for a little while. So if you're willing to introduce yourselves and stand if you're able, I would love that. And I'm going to start on the left. Anybody on this side?
Hi guys, I'm Jonathan Braden, and I'm a member here. This is my daughter Lily, who joins us every now and again, and her boyfriend Kaiser.
Hey. Thank you for being here. Anybody else on this side? Other side. Bunch of frequently visitors over on this side. That's good. And thank you. We're happy you're here. And boy, you picked a really great day if you're visiting for the first time, or if you come all the time. It's Second Sunday. We've got great music. We've got dance. We've got original songs by Anna Linda. We have potluck. We have Michael. Oh my gosh, y'all are just fantastic. So we hope you'll stay for potluck, even if you didn't bring anything to share. There's always so much food. So please do stay and give us a chance to get to know each other a bit better. We have volunteers to welcome you from our membership committee. They're wearing orange and green name tags. Where are you people? There you are. And they will gladly answer any questions you may have. If you're interested in knowing more about us and receiving our weekly newsletter, we invite you to fill out one of the orange cards that's in the back of the pews, and you can just drop it in the offering plate when it comes around, or place it on the table in the foyer after the service. Now, I would appreciate it if you would turn to the back of your order of service and just follow along and listen as I share our land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge, with respect, that this land is the sacred ancestral home of the Cherokee and other Native peoples who survived and continue to make their home here. We deeply regret the genocide and broken treaties by which their land was stolen, and from which we all benefit. We support the Cherokee as they seek redress for these injustices. We also acknowledge that this country was built on the stolen labor and denied ownership of land to enslaved Africans who continue to experience oppression, economic injustice, and generational trauma. We bear a moral and spiritual responsibility to oppose and work to eliminate the ongoing harm of white supremacy and racism. Now, we do have a couple of announcements this morning, and just as a reminder, I'm going to make a couple up here, but lots of announcements are posted on our bulletin board, which is just out in the foyer. I would encourage you to take a look at that in terms of upcoming events here within our community, church community, and in our community at large. First one is from our Social Justice Committee. They had a postcard writing event yesterday, and this is to try to get people who don't live here to get out and vote in their primaries coming up. And so they have some extra postcards that they would love for you just to take a few and take them home and address them. So if you can lend a hand with that, should they see out in the foyer? Okay, there she is right there. So if you have an opportunity, we'd appreciate that. And then another announcement that was posted in the Current this week, but this is a really big deal, and it is called Walk for Your Neighbors. And the First Baptist Church of Swannanoa is hosting that, and it's on Sunday, October 26th at 2 p.m., and the walk will start at 2, and there'll be a block party until 5, and our valley is still recovering and the needs remain high, and all the money that's raised will help with food, clothing, baby supplies, health care, and home repairs. Lace up those sneakers and let's walk. So, with that, now we will let our service begin.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good to see you. Did you see the picture of yourselves? That's it?
Yes.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So, please center yourselves, and I just want to share with you the wisdom of Richard S. Gilbert. It's called Entering the Community of Spirit.
Can't hear you very well.
You can't hear?
Is it on, Michael?
I'm waiting to see if Bill can do that from back
Just want to
there.
make sure your headset's
No, I
turned
can't
off.
do nothing, it's on. Don't know what to tell you.
Probably the speaker from the loud. Yeah. How about now?
No.
No?
The mic is on red.
There we go.
Should I do the Oprah thing? Okay. All right. I hate doing the Oprah thing. Okay, but we will. So, entering the community of the Spirit. As we enter this community of the Spirit, may we always try to remember the difficult lesson that each day offers more things than we can do. Therefore, may we learn to separate that which matters most from that which matters least. May we do what needs to be done, put aside what does not, and be at peace with what we can be and can do. Please rise as you are willing and able, and join us in singing our opening hymn in the Teal hymnal, number 1064, Blue Boat Home, number 1064.
I'm gonna scoot right in with a little.
Please be seated. Our responsive reading this morning is from Unitarian Christian William Ellery Channing, number 592. It's called The Free Mind. We'll read it responsively. I call that mind free which masters the senses and which recognizes its own reality and greatness.
Which passes life, not in asking what shall eat or drink, but in hungering, thirsting, and seeking after righteousness.
I call that mind free which jealously guards its intellectual rights and powers, which does not content itself with a passive or hereditary faith.
Which opens itself to light, whensoever it may come, which receives new truth as an angel from heaven.
I call that mind free which is not passively framed by outward circumstances and is not the creature of accidental impulse.
Which discovers everywhere the radiant signatures of the human spirit, and in them finds help to its own spiritual enlargement.
I call that mind free which protects itself against the usurpations of society and which does not cower to human opinion.
Which refuses to be the slave or tool of many or of a few, and guards its empire over itself as nobler than the empire of the world.
I call that mind free which resists the bondage of habit, which does not mechanically copy the past, nor live on its old virtues.
But which listens from new and higher dimensions of consciousness, and rejoices towards itself forward in fresh and higher exertions.
I call that mind free which sets no bounds to its love, which, wherever they are seen, delights in virtue and sympathizes with suffering.
Which recognizes in all human beings the image of God and the rights of God's children, and offers itself up a willing sacrifice to the cause of humankind.
I call that mind free which has cast off all fear, but that of wrongdoing, and which no menace or peril can enthrall.
Which is calm in the midst of tumults, and possesses itself, though all else be lost.
I'm Anna Linda Metzner, music director here at the UUCSB, and today for Second Sundays, 3 of my compositions will be performed by these wonderful women. Allison Tynes Adams, soprano, earned her Bachelor of Music at Guilford and a Master of Music in Voice Performance from the Peabody Conservatory. She spent many years performing and teaching in New York City and Santa Cruz before moving back home to Black Mountain. She now teaches voice and children's music at the Black Mountain Center for the Arts. And here. Rita Hayes has been a flautist with the Asheville Symphony Orchestra for over 30 years. You didn't want me to say that, did you, about the 30 years? As well as the other orchestras and chamber groups. She founded Braidstream Musical Group and is a music adjunct in performing arts at AB Tech with a Bachelor of Music from the University of Cincinnati Conservatory of Music and an MA from Western Carolina. Lee Roebling has a BFA in acting from the University of Utah. She's been teaching and performing belly dance as sacred art for over 30 years and has choreographed 2 of our songs today. Well, maybe 1. But we'll begin with O Moon of the Seasons, an ancient Scottish ode to the moon, with myself at the piano. The lyrics are in your order of service.
Greetings to you, moon, our guiding jewel.
this is the time in the service when we invite you to come up and share a joy, a concern. I think everything is set up. The stones are there, the fire is there, it's all there. And the floor is yours. Should I bring it to you? Does anybody need me to bring them the stones? Okay. All righty, so this stone is for those of you who, for whatever reason, chose not to come up. And just to remind you that we keep you in our thoughts and prayers. I want to share with you a way of being at home here. And so I want to read this meditation to you, and then you will have your time of quiet as usual. I think you will enjoy this. It's called At Homeness. Be silent. Be still. Be serene in this house of the Spirit. Put aside all noises that annoy, all sounds that irritate, the cacophony that confounds. Because just for this moment, you are here and you are at home. Leave behind all the frustrations that belittle, that causes the fret, the troublesome, that torments. Just for this moment, here, you can be at rest. Put away all the plans to be made, things to be done, victories to be won. Here you are at peace. Breathe deeply. Clear the mind of all cluttered thought. Purge away the spirit of unkindness. Rinse the soul clean and pure. Here, for now, you are at home. Sit easy and be at rest. Feel your body recover its resilience, your mind its bearings, and your spirit its strength. Once again, we have come home to the source. We feel the collective power of our companions, the warmth of their welcome, the support of their caring. We who have been wanderers, groping, searching for something, we know not what. But now, for this moment, we are at home. Here is the place for us. We are at home in this sanctuary with its people. We are at home on this globe with all who dwell on it. We are at home in the cosmos. Our home for all time past and all time to come. We are at home here. And now, while our minds are one, for this moment, I leave you with the eloquence of silence. and so it is. We now collect the stone's offering.
During the offertory, Allison and Rita will perform my composition, Fragments of Fire, a children's firefly song from one of the Ojibwe tribes collected in the 1800s through the oral tradition. I got permission to set the beautiful words to music from Margaret Newton, director of the Quinney Institute of American Indian Education in Milwaukee.
Fragments of fire, darting white flames, weave stars into my dreams. Dancing white flames, star insects, fire fragments, wave stars across my dreams. Flitting white fires, dashing little fireflies. What dost thou touch over my
Thank you for your generosity. I have some bad jokes for you. Very bad jokes. And since there's not a lot of visitors here, are there any visitors here? Who are they? Please raise your hand. Okay, so occasionally, it's not every Sunday, I come up with some jokes. Don't leave. It gets better. Oh, here's one for you. Over the summer, I was at the beach, and so I was walking along, and there was this Mexican brother there, and he was a magician. And so I wanted to see his tricks. And he went, uno, dos, and then he vanished without a trace. Bad, isn't it bad? I got another one. I did a lot of things over the summer. So, I wanted to learn about golf. When I was in the theater, I did this show in Philadelphia, and I was the caddy, but the caddy was like one of the main characters in the play, and so I learned a lot about golf. But now, I always, when I go, I always take an extra pair of socks. You know why? In case I get a hole in one. Come on, one more. Let's do one more before we talk about Unitarianism. I gotta find it though, because, And Don can attest to this. I started collecting coins, over the summer. And I think the change will do me some good. Yeah. Oh, the groans. I love it. I love it. I love those things. Yeah, aren't they bad? There'll be more. There'll be more. But on a serious note, let's talk about Unitarianism. I spoke a lot about universalism last time, and there was someone who said to me, oh, I saw the sermon that was coming up. When are you going to talk about universalism? But you can go back on YouTube and watch those. But I want to talk about Unitarianism. What makes a good functioning UU? Already. That's not a joke, though. But no, in some ways, the question is absurd. Yeah, and we've heard jokes about lapsed UUs, we don't encourage you to come or not to come, we don't bug you about it. But there are essential characteristics, and I think they're important. And one of those is the demand that we have freedom of thought. That we have freedom of thought and conviction. And so it's a contradiction in terms, to proclaim some standard whereby we can design some sort of metric to judge who's a good Unitarian, who's a good Universalist. There are, however, certain characteristics that all of us as UUs do, and I think we feel we must share those. Otherwise, what's the point? There'd be no need to come to the church. There'd be no need to be, wanting to be in this denomination. These features, these feelings, distinguish us. But they're not just found in the principles. They're not just found in our principles and purposes. They are found in the fact that you and I are seeking a larger vision, a larger perspective, a spiritual perspective, if I can use the word, an understanding of life, not simply because we may profess a set of beliefs, in certain revelations or creeds or dogmas, not through the saving power of Jesus. We're not talking about that. It is the celebration because I think you and I are comfortable or learning to be comfortable with mystery, with not having to know, the Lakota, they call Wankatonkin the Great Spirit. Wankatonkin's the Great Mystery. The finite will never comprehend the infinite, not while we're in these bodies. And so we're okay with that. We're not certain of all the answers to life. And so it's the celebration of mystery, the posing of questions, wrestling with enigmas, and even an acceptance of, I would call, the absurdity of all presumptions of what we think is true and even wise. We must learn to accept mystery, that we do not, nor do we have to have all the answers to life's conundrums. We don't have to, and we never will anyway. I want to be less abstract here and more specific. There are certain rules that you and I, explicitly or implicitly, at least attempt to acknowledge and try to follow in this liberal faith tradition. Bear in mind, all religions have rules. All religions have, and we can argue whether Unitarianism is a faith or not, a religion at another time. For instance, the so-called golden rule is the oldest and most commonly held feature of all the world's great religions. But there are three, I think, distinctive rules for Unitarians, as I see it. Now, I'm not trying to blow off to the Trinity. This is not a Trinity. I don't believe in a Trinity. There are Universalists who have held on to Trinitarianism. And I love that because we make room at the table for all of that. I just realized that one of my favorite philosophers, and I got this book, his name is David Bentley, and it's like literally every couple sentences I need to look at a dictionary. But his mind is so brilliant. And I just found out that he's Eastern Orthodox, but he's also a Universalist. He believes that all people are saved, that there is no hell, that there's no angry God that's going to barbecue you for eternity because you don't agree. You know, I love that. But he's Eastern Orthodox. I was like, wow. They'll get rid of him. Number one for Unitarians and Universalists, but we're not talking about us today. Uncompromising respect for the individual. Uncompromising. This requires a tolerance, and I would hope an acceptance, because who are we to tolerate? I don't like the word, but who are we to tolerate anybody, of differing beliefs and forms of behavior, limited only by I wouldn't say it's a hate. I would say it's a hostility to beliefs and actions that deny the rights of others. It's not always easy to do, but a cultivation of a way of life that honors the individual through self-respect and respect for others. It's a fundamental requirement of what we would call the good life. That's number one. Number two, accepting as much as possible the discipline of reason. Now, I tell you, there are limits to reason. I love when this happens today. I try to read something uplifting in the mornings before I get the damage report from what has gone on in our world while I was asleep. I was flipping through A Course in Miracles. I read my lesson, and then I was flipping through, and it turned to, basically, it's the limits of reason. I love when that happens. And so, we're not going to do A Course in Miracle thing here, but it says that reason, I was talking about the pros and cons of reason. Reason only looks at form, and forms can lie. Forms are I can look at you and reasonably make some assumptions about you, the way you look, maybe the way you were raised, that kind of thing. But I don't go deeper. And that's where you have to watch reason. Because reason lies. And so I make these assumptions about you. And so reason, we want to go deeper. Not that reason is bad, but you can't put all the eggs in the basket of reason. But in a world that seems to be out of joint and that has gone insane with irrationality and fear, right? In a world where self-gratification and sensual titillation is sought at all costs, and we've seen what passes for reason, where that's brought us. Nevertheless, we as Unitarians are bound by the rule of reason. In the book of Isaiah, Yahweh, the Lord, says to the tribe of Israel, they're having disagreements, and he says, come on now, let us reason together. This is Yahweh talking. Albert Schweitzer says that humanity must get back our confidence in reason as the only oracle that has never betrayed us. Truth, however elusive and ever incompletely revealed, is still our only hope. However limited our comprehension, and use of its power, reason still remains an indispensable guide in our search for the good life. Reason is still only a guide, however. Number 3, keeping our minds open to new and fresh understanding and insight. Not so open that our brains fall out, but that we keep an open mind, right? The mind is like a parachute. It doesn't work unless it's open. And so having an open mind, ever eager for larger visions of what is true and what is right and what is beautiful. To quote Samuel Longfellow, revelation is not sealed. Truth and right are still being revealed. It's not just over in the book of Revelations. We are being revealed. Everything is being revealed. We're growing. We're evolving as a species and collectively. So there's always more to be revealed. These 3 rules, simply stated, are the basic rules by which I believe we function, or at least try to function, in our religious approach, both as individual Unitarians and as congregational communities. Now, I get it. They may seem cold to some, and rules generally are. And yet religion is never simply a matter of rules. Religion, like life itself, right, is full of majesty and mystery. It is laughter and love. It's wonderment and hope. It's the exposure to the wondrous and impossible dreams and what? And the disappointments that we have when we fail to realize those dreams. It is commitment. It is determination. I'm talking about religion. It is rapture, and it is despair. It is also detachment. Learn it. It'll keep you sane in the next 4 to 8 years and beyond. It is all sorts of things that are often inconsistent, but they're things that make life terribly real. In my not so humble opinion, the trouble with orthodox religion or revealed religion, to my mind, is that they take all the mystery and the enigmas and all the things that are unexplained, and they try to make a formula out of it. They try to structure it. When I was in seminary, I had to take classes in systematic theology, which is the ordered structure of God. Good luck with that one. But you know, and I had to pass it, so I had to do what I had to do. But they reduce everything into all the mysteries of life. Into, if you just follow these rules, if you just believe these creeds and dogmas, the knee must bow a certain way though, Michael. You know, you got to get it right. And they solve all the mysteries of existence, of life and death, and all the answers are just given to you. That's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. And I want to be fair. These revelations, whether they're Christian or Jewish or Muslim or Hindu, whatever, they're often very beautiful and very profound. They're very profound. And within them is much truth. And we need to be able to acknowledge that, no matter what our wounds are. There are answers to the great mysteries and paradoxes of life and death, answers which have appealed to millions and still do. I'm not trying to take that away. They still do with me. They contain insights and ethical values that have timeless validity. But yet somehow, after all of these answers, I don't know about you, but don't you still ask yourself, is that it? Is that it? After Dante and Toni Morrison, right, and Miles Davis and Samuel Longfellow, and we can go Alice Walker, and is that all? Is that all? I've heard it called the metaphysical blues, you know, and I still got questions, you know. I'm still wondering about stuff. Well, and the other side of that is, as Unitarians, maybe we're just difficult people. Maybe we're just ornery people. I mean, perhaps we take pride in our unwillingness to surrender our doubts, and revel in walking to the beat of a distant drummer. I know I'm going to date myself here, but you remember the movie The Wild Ones, right, with Marlon Brando. And remember, there's a guy, they're questioning him, and he rebels against everything, and people are sick of it. And this one guy says to him, "What are you rebelling against now?" And his answer is, "What do you got? What do you got?" And it's fine to be a seeker, but you want to find something. You want to find something. It's just, you don't get points just for seeking. And so it's easy to forget that. But whatever it is, we all suffer from, we'll call it an existential discontent. And that's part of being human. And so when you and I decided to leave our religion of origin, the old-time religion, the gods and God of that old-time religion that our forefathers and mothers believed in, we were still left with the enigmas, the paradoxes, and the endless questions. When we left there, we were still left with what? Mystery. Questions. Maybe you remember this. And I'm going to rush it because I'm hungry. And I know you're hungry. And there's a football game on it. In the ancient legend of the Sphinx, you may recall the monster roamed the city, around the city of Thebes, right? And telling riddles to the people. But if you didn't get the answer, the monster would kill you. It would eat you, right? If you couldn't come up with the answer. The people of Thebes have been told by an oracle. Now that's something if you don't believe in psychic phenomena, then you need to go back and look at that. But the oracle says that the Sphinx would destroy itself when the great riddle was solved. Is it coming back to you a little bit? You remember a little bit? The question was this: what animal goes on 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 in the evening? Do you remember? What was it? Human being. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Human being, man. Women, too. And Oedipus realizes that the answer is a human being who walked on all 4s when an infant, stood erect in the noontime of life, and was supported by a walking stick in old age. So the Sphinx, on hearing the correct answer, committed suicide. Harsh. Just say, hey man, I didn't know. Yeah, anyway. So for one moment, a human being had discovered the mystery of the unknown. So I submit to you that Sphinx is still with us today and posing each of us intensely personal enigmas, questions, or koans, as the Buddhists would call, to get us to wake up, to get us to think, what is the sound of one hand clapping, right? What did your face look like before you were born? Just things to get the lead out and get us to thinking. And these are problems of our own contradictory behavior, when so often we as a species and as individuals, we never do what we want to do. We do what we don't want to do, and then we wonder why. In the book of Romans, Paul says, what I want to do, I don't do. But I do what I hate to do. That I do. And human beings have been struggling with this contradictory behavior since we've been on the planet. We have in the body politic, we have in wars, and in racial hatreds, how we were destroying our ecosystem, massive materialism, moral degradation, and the Sphinx is asking us why we have these problems. And I think deep down we know why. We know why. But collectively we refuse to answer them, and so therefore we are in danger of being devoured by the Sphinx. Rules and riddles are they're at the very heart of Unitarianism, right? I know we don't think about it that way. We use a different language, a language of principles, a language of boundaries, theological convictions and spiritual insights. We don't speak of riddles and enigmas when we define Unitarianism, but our insistence on individual belief comes from the recognition and the perception of life as being the great mystery that it is, full of complexities, paradoxes, contradictions. We're more full of that than any pat, rational or scientific answers or theological conviction. And we have to be careful, folks. You may not agree with me, but we have to be careful that we don't make science a new religion. We may be too late, but we have to be careful that we make science a new religion like we did money. Like we've done money. In responding to life with the heart, the mind, and with strength, we give it meaning. No matter what the future holds, no matter what it holds, there will always be human knowledge and ignorance. There will be skullduggery, people getting bamboozled and flim-flammed. It will always happen. There will be human folly and grandeur, and they all interconnect with each other. So life remains essentially a mystery. We do the best we can. Whether you believe in God or non-God or whatever you want to call it, weakness, frailty, and failure are to be expected and accepted. Our faith remains in life or God or ourselves, whatever it is. You want to know where your faith is or what you believe in, as I say, at the end of the year, tally up what you gave your most hours to. That's your God. That's your God. We're all in it, up to our necks, but we live by the power of this faith. And so, however different the language and the imagery that each of us may choose to use, I submit to you that it is the celebration of this very personal but shared approach to the spiritual life that brings us into the fellowship of this congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Swannanoa Valley. This denomination, the Unitarian Universalist Association. And to me, that is what makes us Unitarians. There it is. There it is. All right, we're going to get out. Our closing hymn, number 298, Wake Now My Senses. Please rise as you are willing and able.
After the hymn, could you please have a seat again, because we have one more piece to perform for you. So, but now you can rise if you want. You want all five? Five.
No, just do three. Let's do 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Verses 1, 2, and 3.
Keep with the
Joe and our guest artist. All right, if you have found freedom today, here, take it with you into the world. If you found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have some dreams that you are dreaming, and maybe you got a little spark here. If you've known love, give some back to a bruised and broken world. And go in peace.
Hello, hello. For our last song, we will sing What the Goddess Does with a text by Euripides, and it contains good advice for hard times. I'll be playing the tambourine, and thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed my music and our performance.
Yeah.